and I want to explain the. I love it. I love it.
We're getting out of the gate hot,
dude. We get up early. Yeah, we're on our second pot of coffee now. So Eric, introduce yourself, brother. I love your story. I love why you did what you did and why you're doing what you're doing, and some amazing stuff, man. So I've appreciated our relationship, and thank you for always pushing forward and helping us LOs to have the amazing insights that you have brought to the party. So yeah, introduce yourself. Let's get started.
Yeah, man. First of all, thank you, everybody. I know it's MLK Day, and so we're celebrating that and honoring him and his legacy. And I know we're mortgage bankers, so we're in this mortgage industry. So none of you are actually off today, although all of your banking friends are doing something else probably today. I'm in a building in North Carolina where the heat's not working, so I'm shivering. And I was just joking around with Scotty and the boys that by the time this is over, I'll probably have burnt 1,000 calories just shaking because it's so cold today. But I'm honored, Scott, to have the opportunity to jump in. Just quick background on me. I've never been an originator. I've never been a real estate agent. Just total transparency. I started in this industry as a recruiter probably 20 years ago, sitting in a cubicle, working for mortgage companies, helping them grow and expand, recruiting originators like yourselves, branches, acquisitions, even helping reach out to agents actually to make agent introductions through originators. And what I learned by doing that was, number one, the value of process, the value of data. But back then there was no data. Like we were members of the NBA, and we would get this CD-ROM that would come to us once a quarter, and we'd plug that CD-ROM in, and that's where we'd get contact information. But by the time I would reach out to somebody, they might not even be there anymore. And then I'd have to go through gatekeepers, and I have to find the local phone numbers. And it was really, really difficult. Not to mention the fact that if you were reaching out to an agent, if you were reaching out to an LO, you didn't have any idea of their background or what they were actually doing. So as we built that business, and we built it and managed it through 2008 when the world came to an end in financial services, rebuilt it back up again. But what we noticed is there's a real gap in our industry as it relates to sort of like an LOS for business development, so you can track your efforts. But maybe more importantly, what we figured out was the value of all of this intelligence, so that when I make a phone call, send an email, a text message, plug somebody into my CRM, that I have some intelligence on who it is I'm reaching out to, so that I don't ever have to make a cold call again. That was kind of the goal, right? That when I call Scott, I can comment on if he's an agent, a new listing or past transactions. If he's an originator, I can comment on what their book of business actually looks like. So we built Model Match to solve some of those problems, create better efficiencies, and put you in a better position to identify, engage, and convert opportunities. And Scott, you and I got introduced by a really good friend, Brian View, who many of you know. Brian's an OG in this industry and now runs Mismo. And I think for those of you that follow Scott in this show, which all of you obviously do, for Scott's name to be dropped by somebody like Brian View was a big one to me. So when Brian said you and Scott need to know each other, that was all I needed to know. And Scott, that's how you and I got it.
Yeah, that was a good day, man. Brian, I miss Brian, so I'll have to get him back on here and just have him say something, So yeah, I miss him.
He's a good one for sure.
He's a good one.
He's a good one for sure.
So there's a lot of things that Model Match does, and I wanted to specifically focus on the borrower insights and the enrichments because I think that everybody is looking for a particular loan, maybe a VA loan at 6.5% that we can do a IRRRL on, or whatever it may be. You pick it, but I would love to share with them what the back end of what this looks like if somebody has Model Match. And then maybe touch on like how to look up agent insights and how to build a list. Like we don't have time for all that, but I think borrower insights would be a good topic for today. Would you guys agree? Yeah, Norm's saying yes. Okay, cool. Because I know Norm called me. He's like, "Hey, how do I use this?" And I'm like, "Cool, man. He's gonna be on Monday, so let's do it."
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, why don't I just share my screen, Scott?
All right, cool. Perfect.
And I'll and by the way, always risky when you're doing a live demo like this. So bear with my Wi-Fi in the 19 degrees temperature in this building. All right, can everybody see my screen? Maybe somebody just give me a thumbs up and let me know you can see the map.
We got
That's pulled up. Okay, cool. So Model Match does a lot, and we're not going to go through all of it today, but we the environment has a built-in CRM where you can track all of your activity. You can set follow-up tasks that'll notify you inside of the system and also connect with your calendar. We've got a reporting environment. We have something called Pulse, this little rocket ship right here, which curates a list of all of your past agents that you've had some connection with over the last 24 months, basically builds a curated list for you and shows you who you should be reaching out to and why. But we want to focus on a couple of things today. And Scotty, I know you mentioned borrower insights. If I could, let me start a little bit before borrower insights maybe, and then we'll work our way into it. And I'll be quick so that we can go through some questions and some Q&A as well. But model match in market insights is what you're looking at right now. And that's where, all of the research kind of starts for most of our users. And from market insights, you can search for anything. You can look for originators, agents, companies, branches. You can even plug in a property. I could plug in my address right here, and it's going to show you a pop-up of the entire history of that property, from when it was first sold, what was the AVM, what did it sell for, what was the product, who was the listing agent, the buyer's agent, the loan officer, and all the way through the progression from when I bought my house 6 years ago and then refinanced it a couple of years after that. You'll see that all of that. You can set listing alerts from here. You can set borrower alerts from here, property alerts from here. We're not going to get into all of that, but I did want to kind of point out everything you can do from this screen. But a good place to start would be, let's just say agents in Catawba County. Catawba.
Picked one I couldn't spell. So
yeah, I can't tell you. There we go. Catawba County, North Carolina. Now I'm just saying Catawba because I'm in Catawba County. So the map will go to Catawba County. Here I have a list. If I want to filter that list by what agency they're with, what originator they work with, their volume, their units, their buyers units, sellers units, whatever. If I just want to say, show me just the producers that have actually done at least one unit over the last 14 months, down below my cursor here, you'll see how many we found and how quickly we found it. So let's do one thing. Let's just say buyers units. You could give it a range. I'm just going to say greater than 6. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here, but you can see we've got a list of 108 now. You can save this list. This list will save inside of Model Match. You can save as many lists as you want. Once you save a list, the filtered list that you've built, so where they are, how much volume they do, their product mix, who they're working with, that'll all be saved in the background. It'll be updated dynamically on a daily basis. We're ingesting data daily. So all of that's going to update in the background. You can save that. We don't charge for however many lists you want to save. You can also select up to 1,000 at a time from this list, and you could push that into a CRM, a webhook. You could export it. We don't for our premium subscription, you have full export functionality. So a lot that you can do from here. If you want to switch this to loan originators as an example and see who you're competing with, you can do it, and you'll see this whole list is now going to switch over to loan officers. But let's go back to our agents. Okay, so here's our list. If I want to go in here and look at one of these agents, I could pull up Kelsey as an example. It's going to give a good summary of everything Kelsey's done. You can choose any date range you want, going back to when the NMLS ID was added to the recording. You could even look full all time. Let's switch this to 14 months. You got summaries down the left side, contact information, links. I've got a realtor.com link. I've got a Facebook link here. And then, of course, the summary details. Again, I'm not going to spend a ton of time here. But every time you change something on this page, you'll notice that the entire page will update. Even things like, hey, I just want to see maybe the FHA loans that Kelsey did. If I click on FHA there, you'll see this entire page just switch to FHA. I can see what originators she's now sending her FHA business to. By the way, every place you see a name that's got drill down capability, you can select in mass, push it to an export, push it to a CRM. We're going to pull all the contact information on the back end as well. Okay, let me pull this filter out of here. If I want to then go to one of these agents, I can go to the, loan officers. I'm now looking at Alyssa, who's one of the LOs that works with Kelsey that we were just looking at. If I want to do some comparative, intel with Kelsey, how I'm doing on an agent page or a loan officer page, I can see trends 14 months over 14 months. I can drill down into product. So a ton that you can do on this page. By the way, I will mention the back button works. I don't know why that's a big deal in software lately, but you don't see tabs and windows opening up all the place. We built Model Match from the ground up, so we control all of the functionality to make it super, super easy. Going back to Kelsey again, we were just talking about those list of LOs. I can filter those LOs by product, by geography, any number of things. One of the things that our users talk about a lot is that if I'm a loan officer, so let's pretend I'm Alyssa for a moment. go to your page, pull up your agents, sort it by listing agents, and go take action on those listing agents. Because a lot of times those are the agents that maybe we're not spending a lot of time with. We're spending more time with our buyers agents, but there's a ton of opportunity inside of these listing agents as well. So you can sort those transactions that way also. One of the things that was brought to us a year or so ago was, hey, I want to be able to take action on my transactions. Maybe I want to make sure that I sort of have ownership of my database, even if I've changed companies multiple times. You can do that from Model Match, and you've got access to a ton of columns that you can pull from. All of this has drill down capability as well as export functionality. When I say drill down capability, I mean things like if I want to go look at a particular product, this one I did with David here, or property, I can see the history on that property. Again, you can set a listing alert for these agents. You can set property alerts, borrower alerts as well. But this is kind of where the idea of borrower insights just then came from, which is instead of just having access to a database, why don't we give you access to the database and then be the ability to enrich things like the payoff amount, the equity percentage, the calculated rate, what's the AVM, and what's the borrower contact information. I will point out that on all of these pages, a loan officer page, you can go to a map and see where their transactions are. I can see what lenders they're selling their loans to. I can see what title companies they're working with, the employee history. All of this is reverse engineered on whether it's a loan officer or an agent as well. Okay, great. That was super fast. We can come back to it in a second. Let's go over to Borrower Insights now. So right now, Borrower Insights is a separate tab on Model Match. This is all going to get pulled into the same UI here in the next couple of weeks, but it's an early release. Scott, I think you and I have talked about this.
Yep.
Not everybody has, quote, access to Borrower Insights. We've kind of kept it a little bit quiet behind the scenes. Any of you that have access to Model Match, you do have access to Borrower Insights, and I'll show you real quick. If you're on Model Match now and you're thinking, well, I don't know how to access Borrower Insights, go down to the question mark here. You click on Borrower Insights, and then it'll ask you to plug in your email address. It'll say you're about to join a wait list. But Scott, anybody that comes through your link, I'll make sure our team knows to push them through the wait list so that you do have access. You'll log in one time, and then it'll take you, it'll take you over to Borrower Insights, which looks like this. Once you're in Borrower Insights, you'll plug in your NMLS ID, and then you can see things like all of your transactions. So here's just a list of all of this particular LO's transactions. I think I pulled somebody. Yeah, Stacy Sharp. She's actually part of that Catawba County list. So this is a real LO, and you've got access to all of these table settings inside of this list. So you can see your own loans, all of them. If you want to see your borrower churn, what this is showing is all of the borrowers where you did a purchase transaction, but they've refinanced with another loan officer. So you actually lost that loan. And by the way, we're noticing across the country, there's about a 26+ % average on borrower churn. So if you think about if all you did was decrease your own churn by say 10 or 15%, how many more units would that be across an entire year? But we are seeing that a lot. So we've got some of these filters. A refi filter would be, any past transaction where the borrower is still current, they're in the property, they haven't refinanced yet, and their rate is above 7%. And I'm going to come back to this in a minute. And then same thing with high equity borrowers. Maybe you've got a good relationship with a contractor, some opportunity to do some reno loans, maybe a wealth manager where you could push some money into a 529 account for your kids that are growing up. Lots of things that you can do within this, within this as well. The other thing that's cool though is you don't have to just look at your own loans. You could go into a market and plug into our AI tool. And before we got started on this, I just typed in FHA loans in Charlotte, North Carolina that were originated between 2020 and 2023 with a rate above 6.5 and equity between 15 and 25%. So where my head was here, show me all the loans in Charlotte that might be ready to drop PMI as an example, right? Maybe they're getting close, or maybe they've already crossed over into that world. When I click find borrowers, you'll see up here, we're generating the filters for you so that you don't have to go build out a filtered list. The AI tool is just going to do it. So let's give it just a second. It's pulling in a ton of information.
And this is where you could search per anything you want, and you just did that one. So it's going to give you every loan done within that county, that city, whatever, and all the details that go along with it.
That's right. And you're getting a ton of detail for free. You're just getting that inside of the list. But remember, this list of 170 loans that we're 771 that we're looking at, it's an FHA loan in Charlotte that was originated between 20 and 23 with an interest rate above 6.5, equity between 15 and 25%. Now, there's other filters on here. Scott, to your point, there's a ton of things that we could add. We could say where the lender was XYZ lender. We could look at just a particular originator as an example. So you can, and once you even plug these in, you can adjust it. You know, if I wanted to change this percentage to something else, I could. But here's where the magic kind of happens. So, you know, this may, obviously, this information may be in your LOS already, but if you came from another company, well, you probably don't necessarily have this information. Not to mention the fact that, keep in mind, these aren't your loans. These are all the loans in Charlotte, regardless of who originated them. But what I can do from here is I can start to enrich some of these columns where you see them blank. Now, the enrichment does have a cost. It's about 30 cents a column. It's not that much at all.
The whole column, like the whole 171 is 30. Okay.
That would be just a column. So let's say I want to look at Lake Erie Lane in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I only want to know who the borrower is. If I just click on the borrower column here, it's going to go look for the borrower, which it found. So here's the borrower. I've got an email address and I've got phone numbers for the borrowers. That enrichment
right
only
the
costs.
system.
Say that again. I'm sorry, Scott.
Yeah, and guys, I want you to, like, this is right inside here. You don't have to leave the system. That's a beautiful thing.
You don't have to leave the system, and you can export this. You can save this list on your machine. You can save it inside of Model Match. You can share that list. You can export it. We allow functionality to pull this information out of the system. But Scott, to your point, I don't have to now go to another platform to go get contact information, payoff amount, equity percentage, loan to value, calculated rate. So that would cost 30 cents. I can enrich this in bulk. The more you enrich, the more discounts you get. One entire property, if I enrich this property, so you'll see that now on this property, it's enriching everything, the borrowers, the equity balance. So we can see Tina Sewell here owns the home. She's got an equity balance, a payoff amount of $79,000, 21% equity. We got the current LTV. The home value is $384. That's lender grade AVM. And then we've got a calculated rate of 7.5. So here's Tina. If we open her up, we've got her name, we've got her email address, we've got phone numbers. And if we can, we'll go find some additional information for you as well. You're not paying for all of this. You're paying for the contact information. But yeah, that's what this would look like. And then from here, you can save this list. You can push it out of the system and export it. You can go push it into your CRM, or gosh forbid, pick up the phone and go make a phone call.
God forbid. So, right? so on this 171, if I wanted the number and the emails that go with these, mainly, if I just wanted the phone numbers because I want to call them.
Yep.
And I could I just do that column and just get the numbers for
100%.
For all 171? Okay.
Yep. So if all you wanted to do was just and so here's what's funny, and let's just give away the secret sauce. What we just did here was we just allowed you to gamify this whole platform, right? Because basically what we're saying is, yeah, there's value in enriching all of this. If I wanted to enrich all 171 loans right now, I could go do that. It would end up costing you probably around $120 because there's discounts as you go. So it'd be super cheap. However, you already know that the equity is between 15 and 25%. You already know that the rate is at least 6.5%. So Scott, to your point, you may want to go down here and only enrich the current owner. You might think I don't really need to enrich the other things. So to answer your question, you can do that in bulk, or you can do it one at a time. Yes.
Gotcha. Love it. Very cool.
Now let me switch to one other thing, and then I'll stop because I know that we don't have a ton of time. We just rolled out this environment called data reports. This is brand new. I don't know that any of you have seen this yet, and we haven't really started even marketing it. So you guys are some of the first to see this. We're going to have customized reports that you can build inside of Model Match, and you can see some of the templates that we've created. Some are coming soon, some we've just released. But let's say you want to expand in a particular market, but you want to understand the lay of the land. Scott, give me a city.
Daytona Beach.
All right, so Daytona Beach, Florida, I just plugged it in. This is going to take just a second because it's pulling in a lot of data on the back end. I purposely wanted you to give me a city so you think I'm not picking a city that I've already saved the template. While I warm up my hands because I'm so freaking cold I can barely type right now. So we'll give it just a second, but the goal of what we built here was to give you a chance to go see what's happening in a particular market as you look to maybe expand in that market. There's a lot of ways to grow your business. One would be stop your own churn. One would be go find new opportunities with agents that you can research inside of Model Match. Another one, obviously, is go do some research in a market and enrich some data. But and the other one maybe let me go expand my geography. So let's say I'm going to go expand into Daytona Beach. Data reports is going to give you a really good idea of what Daytona Beach looks like. Right now, we're looking at the most recent 12 months, but you can change that date range. I can see volume, unit count, average loan amount. What's the trend? You can see volume's gone down by 28% year over year. Total units has gone down significantly. Average loan size has gone up. Top product is conventional. I can do some trend analysis and just kind of hover over month to month, volume, unit, average loan amount. I can see what the product mix is in the market, purchase to refi, construction, equity. Here we've got some trends on product mix month over month. We're going to show you the top LOs. This is going to expand into every LO ranked. Now, what's cool about this list is Sonia is the top LO in Daytona Beach. What we're showing here is her volume in Daytona Beach. So you actually know how you're competing in Daytona Beach or who's doing what in Daytona Beach. I can look at the top companies in Daytona Beach. This is something that we're just rolling out right now, but recent transitions, you'll be able to see who's made changes over the last whatever date range you choose. And then maybe some of the deeper insights, which is average interest rate, what's the equity, what's the refinance market look like? And then here you go, here's that churn. So 23% of all purchase transactions are being refinanced with another originator, meaning not the one that did the original transaction. And then another cool thing we've done here is you can generate some key insights through AI on this page. And then you can export this report and you can send it. You could send it to your agents. You could send it to others on your team. You could send it to your wealth manager buddy, those that you're doing construction loans with or renovation loans. And we give you some insights. What's the market doing, but then also maybe what you should do. So here's borrower retention. We tell you what the churn is, and then some action relative to that churn. Same thing with refinance. We're talking about the resiliency in the market and where there's maybe some opportunity. So anyway, I wanted to show you just a new tool, Scott, that maybe you haven't even seen yet.
I think I saw that video you sent me. Yeah, that video you sent me was pretty badass.
I'm super stoked about this one, though, because this is the early release where it's a template. But what's coming out over the next several weeks is customization of these data reports.
Very nice. I love we talk about database marketing and staying visible and staying human and connect, engage, interact, remind people who you are, what you do for a living. And this just shows you that when you're not doing it, somebody else is going to take your database. Somebody else is going to take your client. When the churn's so high, 33%. That's 3 out of 10 deals are getting taken from you. Norm, what do you think about that, bud?
Man, I like that a lot. Tell me the market analysis you just showed. Is that going to be able to print out like a
100%? Yep. So we've got a Okay. Yep, we've got a button that's right next to where the AI button is that just says export. We just flat out say you can export this list and you can take it. Norm, great question, which sort of leads me to something else I'm excited about, is the ability for what we call shareables inside of Model Match. So it won't even just be a static PDF or screenshot that you could send. We're going to build to a place where you could send something to one of your agents that actually allows the agent to do a couple of things on that page, change the parameters, change the dropdown. Now, of course, we're not going to let them go too far because they're not a user of the software, but we want to be able to give you more to create a connection with those agents to drive more activity. But simply to answer your question, Norm, yes, you can. There's a button that allows you to download it as a PDF and then be able to push that out.
So it'll look like a pretty little like from Mortgage Coach. Like it's not just a snippet. It'll look like a true document.
It'll look like that's right. It'll look like the report itself. That said, I'm not good. Like we don't think that's enough. We actually want you to be able to send them something that makes them feel like they're actually in a tool that they can manipulate at least a little bit. And then what we'll do is, Norm and everybody else on the call, you all will give us feedback, and then we'll make adjustments to what that looks like. But this is step one on the shareables out of Model Match.
We need to get Eric at Mortgage Con next year, bud.
Be great.
Hey, invite me. I'll come.
Hey guys, so Eric has been so kind to. I'm going to put a link in there. He's got a discounted rate you can't get on the actual website, so it's very discounted. Again, can you go over the different models here on this link, Eric, where it says Share with us the $29 one is mainly just you can see stuff, you just can't really download anything, right? So I could see production, but I really can't do anything with it. Copy paste.
The lower level gives you the opportunity to see the information. You can go search for agents like we just did in here. You can look at companies and branches. But what you can't do is there is no export functionality. You don't have the access to the integrations. You can't push via a webhook. The higher version allows you to have essentially full enterprise functionality, which is unusual in our business. Usually those that have access to full enterprise functionality are the ones that are part of a company that have 1,000 users. I think I saw somebody from Edge was on this call. So Edge is a great client of ours, a really, really good partner. We've got a great relationship with Edge. And so everybody has access to that enterprise functionality. You guys have it also. It's not that lower version, but that would give you access to everything we showed today, plus full export functionality with no nickel and diming and no guardrails.
And it's unlimited exports. You're not limited to a number
unlimited
of
exports.
Agents.
If you notice that it looks like it's limited, that's only because we will cap it at, I think it's 1,000 at a time, only for performance reasons. But you can go back and do 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 and keep going. That's right, at that premium subscription level. And Scott, let me throw out one thing that I'm sure I'm about to break something by saying this. And by the way, I am not a product guy. I'm not an engineer. Our head of product is a freaking wizard, and we're so happy to have Thomas. Scott knows Thomas. I'm the guy that has ideas and listens to all of you and then just yells until we can get something built. I get excited about that stuff. So when I say things like what I'm about to say, I'm sure my team's going to get mad at me because I don't have a process for it, but I'll figure it out. Anybody who signs up through that link, let's say over the next 48 hours, we will give you 25 free credits in Borrower Insights. So you can just go into Borrower Insights, start enriching data, and not feel like you're testing it with your own money. Now, by the way, it's still very, very cheap. But I'll go ahead, Scott, just hold me accountable to that. Okay. I'll make sure that anybody that signs up over the next couple of days gets 25 credits to Borrower Insights.
Awesome. So can you, so if anybody wants, I put my email in there. It's scott@mlolive.com. If you guys sign up today and you want to try this out, just shoot me an email and I'll make sure I get the list to Eric, and we have an ongoing list of who's in, who's out. So I can let him know who that is just to be more organized instead of just like stuff flying back and forth. There's a couple people. Perfect. Jeff said that he's been waiting for access to the Borrower Insights. So we'll make sure we'll get that turned on for him.
Cool. I didn't see that.
Jeff Younger.
Hold on, Jeff Younger. Okay, got it.
Yep. Cool. Any other questions for Eric? This is some crazy cool stuff, guys. This is.
So I've got a quick question.
Yeah, Greg, what's up, bud?
So I saw on your thing new agents that from a recruiting standpoint. Is that new agents both for mortgage lenders and for realtors?
Yes. There's both. You can see LO list and an agent list. You can search whatever you want. New
folks.
Yes,
okay.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm sorry. For brand new, Eric, can you answer that one? So for brand new LOs that are just getting into business. Is that what you're talking about, Greg?
We don't have a template built that goes straight to that, Greg, but it is in QA. That is coming out. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So to show new licenses that were just acquired in a particular market. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to get new license or new people who've applied before they get a license?
I love that question. We're working on it. Yeah, we're working on that one. By the way, I'll tell you something else that we actually own it, and we just haven't plugged it into the UI yet. We have data on all pre-closed activity now. So application trends, what's the pull through, what's falling off. And we will be incorporating that into our UI as soon as possible. We've already paid for it, so we're super motivated to get that out. And we did sign an exclusive on that. So for at least the time being, that data will be data that only Model Match users have access to.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Hey, Eric, how quick is that data being updated?
Yeah, great question. So on the agent side, it's being updated daily. And we do that because you can set a listing alerts for a market. You can set listing alerts for your top agents. And since we have listing alerts, that data needs to be updated daily. So that's happening daily. On the NMLS side, the mortgage data, we get it daily. We're updating the software weekly. And we feel like that's okay because the county recording is generally behind by 30 to 45 days anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But we are doing daily drops. And as far as I know,
I mean,
we may be
listings
the
are
only one
instant
doing that.
and like closings are instant through real estate, just not through the mortgage side of things, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
crazy.
So the daily drops are more important
Yeah.
on the agent side, which
Yeah.
is why we pushed that through daily
Yeah.
not that long ago.
Yeah.
I got one big question. I just thought of I think I know the answer, but the phone numbers, any chance have they already been scrubbed to the do not call registry?
Good question.
They already have. Thank you for bringing that up. I need to remember to
Nice.
do that. Yes. Yep. So
Okay.
it's already we've already pushed it through DNC and also TCPA litigator. So yeah, both.
That's awesome. That was not the answer I thought was going to happen. So that was really,
Yep.
Well, Eric, maybe you need to join us at Mortgage Con this year. I just posted the link, and anybody that signs up, Norm, you get a discount if you use Premier 250.
Yeah, we got
There's
2 weeks
less
left.
Than how many tickets
2
left?
weeks.
Less than 30 left?
Yes. Yeah. There's nearly 400 on the register, and it is 2 weeks away. It's going to be a
2 weeks from
fantastic
today.
time.
Yes, sir.
No, I'll go check that out. If I can attend, I'd love to be able to do that. And for anybody on this call, if you're part of a local MBA or your company has things going on, I'm always happy to. I speak throughout the country. I'm headed to Denver this week for a speaking engagement with a large company. And so if there's anything I can do to support you and your local community and the groups that you're a part of as a speaker or a panelist or a webinar, just please don't hesitate to reach out. Find me on LinkedIn. Scott, I'm sure you'll post my contact information somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to support all of you. Yep.
John Hinks, what do you think, man? We get some little bit of data here for our events that we got coming up?
Absolutely. That was a fire hose, though, to be honest with you. Eric. It was a lot. That's why I'm going to have to dig deep in this and get in. Man, it's a lot of stuff. But you built that's a really great, what a tool. I've been in this thing for like 22 years, and it blows me away the information we can get now.
Mm-hmm.
Just blows me away.
It really is amazing. Now, I'll be the only tech guy and data guy that's going to probably sell this because I get excited about people signing up for Model Match for sure. But the truth is, those that are winning in this game are the ones that are combining the AI, the data, and the action. And I know you know that. And I know that sounds obvious. But what I'm seeing a lot as I travel, as I speak, as I do webinars like this, and I watch engagement, there's a tremendous amount of work happening inside of the tech to identify opportunities. But where you win is you're competing with a lot of people that don't take action on that data. Don't be that person. Go take action on the data.
Please.
Make the phone call. Look, the first thing that you do when you sign up for Model Match, you get borrower insights. Just go look at your own past transactions, look at it by a rate that's above a particular amount and equity, and just go make a couple phone calls. You know, when we first rolled this out, we had a top LO with Movement Mortgage that did a test for us. I think he enriched 10 properties and ended up getting 3 or 4 transactions just from those 10. But then he got 3 or 4 future transactions because it was borrowers that were looking at potentially listing their home. So he made an introduction with an agent. He then got both sides of that transaction. Anyway, aim small, miss small when it comes to some of this stuff, and then build out from there.
Hey, Eric, which level do you get borrower insights? Is it all levels or is it just the middle level and up?
Right now, as I understand, we're giving borrower insights to everybody. So even the lower level would have access to borrower insights. Scott, let me confirm that. And then if I'm wrong about that, we can push out a message to this team.
Sounds good.
But now eventually that will get pulled back where borrower insights will be more of a premium feature. But as I understand it, not right now.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, I want y'all using it, and I want you giving some feedback. Like, and when you have a win, let Scott know so he can let me know what was the win. You know, I enriched this. I made 1 phone call. I got a refinance, or turns out the person I was calling didn't realize how much equity they had, and they're ready to move up. They need a bigger home. I want to hear those stories.
You said something at the very beginning, and John Hinks, you're going to appreciate this. Like John last week, I think it was last week or the week before, he made 10 he had 10 conversations, got 3 deals, right? But he was just spitballing. He wasn't doing it with intention or info, correct, John? So what if you had your database and you had intel of what their rate is and about what their equity is, and you could have an intelligent conversation about that when you called every specific person. Now it's intentional.
I've got a personal story I was thinking about this morning as I was preparing for this. Years ago, when I bought I can't remember if it's the home that I don't think it's the home that I'm in. No, it was the home before it. It actually was a long time ago. It was the first home I ever bought, and I had PMI. Well, I didn't know what PMI was. I was a first time home buyer. Like, I was just learning these things. But what I did know was there was like $170 a month on my payment that I wanted to try to get rid of. Well, what did I do? I paid for an appraisal after a couple of years. I didn't want to keep that PMI forever. I did it myself. I found the appraiser. I learned the process. But then when I was ready to refinance, guess what I did? I didn't use the agent, the loan officer that I used the first time. I just used somebody. I did research. I found somebody else. Had that loan officer called me to say, hey, I'm noticing that your equity has really gone up over the last couple of years. I think I can save you $150 a month. He would have gotten the refinance.
So
and a lot of your younger borrowers, they are doing that. They're going to AI. They're doing their own research. They're figuring this stuff out on their own. Just make sure you beat them or the call center to it.
Norm, how are you going to use this? Because I think you're using it a little bit different. Can you share what your mindset is on this?
Well, a couple different things. We are definitely going to use the borrower insight to grow a database. We've been bringing on a lot of people for our Empire Utes, the Loan Officer Academy, and these guys are brand new and they don't have a database. So if they log into here, they buy this, they log in here, they can generate their own database from nothing. Start marketing them through targeted lists, targeted leads, and just in the matter of just a couple of months, it's going to feel like they were the ones. A lot of people don't realize that they're not dealing with the same one because their original loan officer never followed back up with them. So it's a very easy way to do that.
Crazy.
So we wanted to show our Empire U people what this has.
Brilliant, man.
So little secret, Norm, because you just made me think. Norm, you and I need to talk more often because every time you speak, I'm thinking of something that's coming like really, really soon. So you're triggering me, man. Like, it's awesome. What about this? What about all the loans that were done through an NMLS ID that's no longer sponsored anymore and they've been orphaned?
Yeah.
That have a rate of 6.5 out of EA. Like, holy smokes, that's a no-brainer.
We're building a template for orphan loans. Yep. We're building a template. I mean, look, I think about these things when I speak in front of a group and I ask the rookies in the room, meaning the ones that have only been in the business for 18 months or so, that are actually closing volume to raise their hand and tell me how they're doing it. And they're doing it the way that we just walked through it. They're doing the research. They're creating a small target. They're doing the outreach and they're asking for the business. It's really just that simple. But when I'm standing in that room and I look around and I know that a lot of the originators in that room, their volume's actually gone down. What I'm pointing out is here's 3 LOs that have just been in the business for 18 months and cumulatively they've done 50 million. That's 50 million you didn't do. Because you didn't do the work that the rookies are doing. So sometimes thinking with your rookie brain and utilizing data to direct you is where the next loan is going to live, or better yet, the next agent that's going to create multiples for you.
Crazy. Good stuff, guys.
Question.
Greg, please.
So can you put age? So you're looking for reverse mortgages, go above 65 and see how much equity they have?
Not yet.
Okay. Thank you.
You pulled one out of him. They're working on.
You know what we need to do, man?
Yes, sir.
We need to get together and practice how we would take the model match information and see if we can write out a few scripts and opening lines and so forth on these phone calls. Because we do a lot of this in Cageless. We'll take like a whole hour on working your database. And you'll always hear me say database is not past clients. Database is everything. Like, I want to take this and plug this in to database, right? Like when we teach that. And then I say, if we like work on scripts, if we get a few of us together and kind of like go back and forth on like, how do you make that first phone call, you know, and how do you get over that hump where you're bringing value to the person that you're talking to instead of just asking for a deal?
Yeah.
I think we should do that and then marry it up together with this and do a class on this on MLO. That's
100%.
Because my mental block is like, okay, I'm going to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
What's my first thing? And I think a lot of us might have that little fear, so then we just don't do it. But if we help them overcome that fear by helping them with that opening script, and then the rest of it just happen on its own.
You know who will have the script like instantly?
Money coming from the sky. I mean, that's just
Jamie Miller scripts, man. It's like, you know what I mean? Like that. Exactly. That's where he could literally tell us in 30 seconds what that script is, and we could literally probably the percentage of success would be through the roof, especially when you have the data. That's the big piece. You have the data, so you can talk to them with their data.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
We can ask him tomorrow. We got coaching tomorrow, me and you and a couple other people.
We're going to see him at MortgageCon too. So.
Well, guys, John, going back to what you just said, first of all, I love that. And Scott, feel free to pull me in if I'm available. I'd love to listen to those conversations as well and maybe help just play a little air traffic control. But John, the other thing that I would say is, I'm on this aim small, miss small kick because I think we all know if you start with the easiest thing first and then you work your way out from there, it doesn't feel so heavy. So if you go look at your own transactions first, your own, and go look for the ones that maybe there's an opportunity for some consolidation, or maybe somebody's high equity and you just want to check in with them and say, hey, you got a bunch of money in this house. Have you thought about what's next? And they may say, well, John, man, I'm so glad you called me. My wife and I this morning were talking about maybe it's time to list our house and go look for something that's a little smaller or a little bigger or whatever. The beauty of those phone calls, you already have the relationship. You might have not talked to me in the last 3 years, but I'm going to remember who you are. And because you have a commercial connection with this person, you can say whatever you want. I mean, you can tell them, I'm noticing in this market, this is what's happening. I think your equity is probably around X. I just want to check in with you. Have you thought about what's next? That's an easy phone call. Then you build the scripts out from there for the ones that maybe you don't have a direct connection with.
Let's do it for our first event, John. Let's get this dialed in before the first event.
That'd be sweet.
All right, cool. Good stuff, man. All right, guys. Well, what do you think? Get a little tingly this morning, a couple chills going on. What do you guys think? Huh? No, I know Norm did.
Heck yeah, I got these little butterflies going on. I got some work to do today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, guys. 30 seats left. MortgageCon 2026. If you need a different one, MLO Live is a code for $200 off. MLO Live. Coach Rick has one. And so it's all caps, MLO Live for the code, mortgagecon2026.com. And man, Eric, I can't thank you enough for what you're doing, man. Keep the goods coming, and we'll give you feedback all the time and get this thing dialed in so we can close more loans this year. Appreciate you, man.
No, please have me back anytime. I appreciate y'all. And Scott, you and the team, I love what you guys are doing.
Thanks, man. Thanks so much. Devin, what we heading out with, baby?
You know,
what do you
man,
think, bro?
I think,
what we doing?
we got some good stuff today, man.
Ooh.
So let's just